Welcome back. Today we are going to discuss 7 ways to emphasize respect and build culture while working remotely. As work in the past year has turned mostly remote, one nearly universal experience has been the burnout, as seen in the countless surveys that have gone out to measure employee experience. However, it doesn't take a survey to notice that some of the old team building processes that happen in person have flown out of the window. In this blog, we revisit ways in which employers can foster inclusivity, diversity, and respect with their remote workforce. We dive into some common challenges employers have faced and continue to face, and ways that we can leap forward into a new year with a focus on inclusivity, healthy communication, and ultimately productivity. What is the definition of a respectful workplace? A respectful workplace can be many things. What a respectful workplace is not is an environment in which toxic positivity runs rampant. This is the everything will be okay if you can keep working with a smile on your face type of environment, with which most of us are somewhat familiar. This way of thinking is quickly becoming outdated. However, as we see that toxic positivity reduces motivation, fosters overconfidence and underprepared workers, and creates a breeding ground for depression, anxiety, and burnout. A respectful workplace fights against the idea of false and/or toxic positivity, and instead works to recognize all employers, regardless of status, as whole human beings who, when nurtured for their gifts and talents, will shine brightly. Here are some common traits of a remote workforce where respect is prioritized. The company culture is based on trust. Employees are not constantly monitored for productivity. Leaders are seen as credible. Management and leadership teams lead by example by treating each other and their reports equally and fairly, demonstrating company values. 3, workers are valued as people, not just workers, as employees feel like their work-life balance is taken into consideration when they are given new responsibilities. Healthy communication exists. This includes interdepartmental communication and lateral communication. Employees know what to expect when changes come up and are provided with crucial information regarding how to do their jobs ahead of time so they can adapt. Honesty is valued. Employees and leaders are given the space to air grievances and admit to mistakes or shortcomings without fear of being shamed. Employees are assigned meaningful work. A sense of value is included in tasks. Expectations are clearly defined. Employees always know what is expected of them and know how to ask for help when they struggle. Employees have an appropriate amount of autonomy. Workers are allowed to be their unique selves and bring their individual strengths to the job without fear of retaliation or shaming. And finally, the culture looks down on blaming. Finger pointing decreases employee morale, and employees are less likely to seek help in their roles if they fear retaliation or blame. I definitely like these points for what a respectful workplace is. I'll recite it again, just in case it kind of was overlooked. I'm not going to give the definition, but I'll recite the components of what a respectful workplace is. The company culture is based on trust. Leaders are seen as credible. Workers are valued as people and not just workers. Healthy communication exists. Honesty is valued. Employees are seen as meaningful work. Expectations are clearly defined. Employees have an appropriate amount of autonomy, and the culture looks down on blaming. I love that. So 3 simple ways to foster respect with remote workers. There's no denying that having to rapidly shift to productive remote work strategies complicated inclusivity efforts in the workplace. Remote work leaves a lot of room for inequity. And not all at-home work environments are equal. An inclusive work environment requires sustained effort rather than periodic check-ins or campaigns. So the way that we focus on inclusivity must also change for our employees so they feel respected as they navigate trauma and loss. It's not enough to just consider the remote workforce when we consider how we should be fostering respect at work. We must also consider the pandemic impact of remote workplace, because this comes along with many uniquely challenging factors such as isolation, grief, loss of psychological safety and security, ability to focus at home with distractions, etc. Here are some key ways to foster respect with remote workers. Okay, so show empathy. Many of us have been home alone for months. Making secure connections at work is more valuable this year than ever before. I totally agree with that. Showing empathy is very important, especially as a leader, because then your employees will follow suit and show empathy to each other. Structure remote team building activities. Regular time should be dedicated to allowing employees to socialize and talk about something other than work every now and then. This helps foster feelings of inclusion and motivation. Absolutely 100%. I've seen this work multiple times. Giving those moments to just share whatever experience that they are having without any sort of structure, or the structure is to freely speak. That is definitely a great team building, and you can watch right before your eyes the employees connect with each other. Prioritize employee development. When employees feel valued, they stick around longer and they have more to offer to the business. Absolutely. Offering employee development is definitely a great way to keep them around when they feel valued, as they'll be more encouraged to try to seek promotions and provide more for the company when they feel valued. Okay. Why fostering a respectful remote work culture benefits business? It is easy to see, of course, that when employees feel respected, they give back to their company in ways they cannot if they are suffering from burnout or low motivation. Here are some key ways which remote teams that feel respected benefits business: increased employee retention, supportive workplace culture, less conflict between workers or teams, increased productivity, increased creativity, innovation, and collaboration, and better customer and client service. Everything in this section demonstrates these concepts rather fully, but let's consider some of the facts and figures to back up these ideas. All right, I like this. So it says 86% of employees trust managers who are willing to show support and recognition. Employees' attitudes toward change correlate with efforts to build a more human-centric workplace. Employees are more adaptable and positive during times of change and crisis. Voluntary turnover rates decrease when employees feel respected. The average employee costs 33% of their salary. So high turnover due to a disrespectful environment becomes very costly over time. I've discussed this across other videos. It costs money, as an employer, you understand. It costs money to hire and fire, right? And so we want to create these types of environments that are for retention, to improve and increase retention, especially when they're working from home, okay? I don't think this can be more proven and supported than by this fact that they just listed. I just got excited and wanted to add to that. Okay, so then employees are 4 times likely to quit when management is unable to show the appropriate levels of appreciation and or respect to the employee, i.e., managers who cannot empathize and advocate for their employees are more likely to risk losing their employees at higher rates. Millennials are 22 times more likely to work for a company with a high trust culture. And lastly, 26% of employees leave their jobs due to lack of respect, and 61% say that trust between themselves and management is very important to job satisfaction. I love these factoids, and they're a great way to support why we are going to foster this respectful workplace. Okay, so more helpful tips to create a respectful workplace. Here are some tips to create a healthy, respectful excuse me this morning. Okay, so here are some tips to create a healthy and respectful remote culture, building off the above data. Develop employee skills. Helping employees continually grow and evolve will allow them to feel more respected in their roles. 2, communicate and demonstrate values. Lead by example. 3, foster a sense of safety and security. Instead of constantly monitoring employee productivity with metrics and spyware, allow employees room to feel trusted and safe in their roles. 4, incorporate water cooler talk time. Since your employees are remote, their Zoom calls on work days could be the only people they speak to all day. Consider adding structured chats where employees can play games and or decompress with each other without management present. Number 5, emphasize the importance of work-life balance. Let employees know that their time is valuable and you respect that they are multifaceted persons outside of work with responsibilities and duties that are equally, if not more important. Number 6, engage in regular employee appreciation for your team. Let your team know the ways in which they are contributing to a broader company goal and make sure they know how valued they are. Number 7, keep communication channels clear. Don't leave employees in the dark about updates, big or small. This helps them feel more connected with and responsible for building on company culture. I don't think I need to add any more to that. I think all those tips that they gave and suggestions tips that they gave on creating a respectful workplace are great ways to foster it. I have done except, I think 2. There's only 2 that I have not employed, and I think they're great, because the other 6, I'm like, these must be great as well. So I definitely enjoyed that. So it says, get educated. There's a lot to be said about how to build a respectful remote workplace, especially as navigating the pandemic throws so many challenges our way. One of the best places to start is to get educated. This blog starts the process, but consider how courses and data can help you and your team make fostering respect a way of life rather than an HR push that nobody feels really connected to. I definitely enjoyed this article. I hope you enjoyed it as well. Hello, my name is Kendra, the official business renovator. Thank you for joining my channel today, and I hope that you enjoy the content today. Feel free to like, comment, and share the video, as well as subscribe so that you can get notifications for when I release new content. Also, click the link in the bio for more products from me, as I recently released the book, The Great Promotion, and I discuss how I got promoted 4 times in 6 months and received a bonus while working from home.